So Burmese pythons are here. The numbers that are here are unknown, but it's certainly in the thousands. They are detrimental to our environment. They feed on a lot of our native species. So as many as can be removed is what the state is looking to do.
Where do these Burmese pythons originate from, or where are they coming from?
Burmese pythons are an Asian species. They were brought here via the pet trade.
So then basically people own them as pets and then they get too big and they release them, essentially,
and
right?
Some might escape.
Some might escape.
You know, if you don't have a good cage or good fence, you know, your dog gets out. If you don't have a good cage, your snake may get out. And unfortunately, these grow very large. They're an apex predator, so they're close to the top of the food chain. They probably vie with alligators for that. For that label.
And then you mentioned for the ecosystem in Florida, how are they, as non-native, how are they having an impact in Florida then?
Well, anytime you add a predator or something that disrupts the ecosystem, it's really not a good thing, especially for something as unique and fragile as the Everglades. So that's why the state really puts a high priority on removal of these animals from the environment.
All right, so we introduced you, and we said part of your title was that you were part of the VENOM 1 response team. That sounds pretty cool. You're actually a retired member of that, the Miami-Dade portion of the VENOM 1 response team, that is. What kind of calls do you handle? I assume it's all about, what, poisonous, responding to poisonous bites?
We respond to bites from venomous fauna. You know, it could be scorpions or snakes, anything of that nature. We also respond to anything that is animal related. It's a very unique unit, but it does keep the frontline units from being called to handle things that they may not be familiar with or equipped to deal with. We even respond to things like alligators under a car, just like was in an earlier segment.
And let me ask you too, I can actually have two parts to this question. One, what should you do if you encounter a non-native snake like this? The second one is, if you are seeing these so frequently, what are you doing with them once you get them?
So if you encounter something that you're not familiar with, you're not sure if it's native or not, the best thing to do is take a photograph of it and report it to the state. And that can be reported via the hotline at 888-483. I've got one, and or the email address at exoticreports@fwc.com.
Okay. And we have that information up there too on the screen. And then real quickly, I just wonder, what do you do with all these snakes?
Well, the state is a primary agency responsible for dealing with the exotic species. So when we capture one, it's logged, reported, and then the state comes and picks it up from us for ultimate disposition.